The New Galactic Era. Space Voyages. Science fiction novel by Mariia Obydenna. Chapter 13. New Heaven and New Earth. Martha stood and looked out the tower's window on Mars. Yawning, she poured a sweet, spicy drink that she had loved since childhood. Before her eyes, an unforgettable landscape of the red planet unfolded, with small rocks and artificial lakes. Her sadness was not loud, it was vast. In a week, she would leave the solar system forever. Martha was from Mars and loved her home very much. In the age of biocrits, Mars was a planet of glass and metal domes and skyscraper spires. Mars has an atmosphere, albeit quite thin, that allows people to breathe. On this planet, a common architectural feature used to cover the tops of cylindrical buildings is the dome, which is employed in construction. The domes are designed to span various areas, shielding them from environmental exposure and preventing air leakage. Mars is red because of a layer of iron oxide, known as rust, that covers its surface, giving it a reddish hue. The iron-rich rocks and soil of Mars are weathered by the planet's thin atmosphere and intense solar radiation, forming iron oxide on the surface. Mars's red hue stands out in the sky, making it appear as a dazzling reddish-orange object. Flying cities. In the age of biocrits, Mars has changed. The planet was impressive in size and technological power. Within its borders, flying cities served as a high-speed transportation system, providing easy access to all parts of the continent while minimizing environmental impact. These pulsating veins of the metropolis are seamlessly intertwined with green parks, creating a new way of urban life. Sleek pods effortlessly traverse space with silent efficiency, opening a realm of seamless connectivity for their inhabitants while leaving no ecological footprint. In a new era, the combination of nature and technology creates a unique aesthetic atmosphere on Mars. The cities are based on arched structures, adorned with cascading green foliage, portals between the natural and man-made environments. Aesthetics suggests they embody an ethos that combines the organic beauty of the environment with technological innovation. In the Martian metropolis, technology and nature merge, symbiotically nurturing a spirit of progress and the well-being of the biosphere. The beautiful red planet Mars is unique, full of life and beauty. The beauty of Mars is diverse, from high mountains to deep oceans. The change of seasons enhances its charm, each bringing its own magic. Mars is home to a diverse range of plant and animal species. The diversity of ecosystems, from dense forests to arid deserts, is truly impressive. The age of biocrits changed the world, but not people's feelings. People are just as sad, happy, and irritated as they were centuries ago. The modern world unites the most technologically advanced centers of life. Despite humanity's significant achievements, the resources of the solar system were insufficient to sustain the population's vital activities and protect biological species from extinction. In her new home, Martha's task will be to manage and guide the construction of a new space colony far from Mars. She, a blonde with blue eyes and numerous scientific awards, will live on one of the unnamed planets far beyond the solar system. She will lead the construction of a new colony on a distant planet. The new unnamed planet, where the scientific expedition was to arrive, is not yet inhabited by humans, and the new settlers will be tasked with establishing life in this area and building a strong military settlement. The possibility of life and community beyond the solar system has long been explored, and thanks to recent technological advances, the desire to build a full-fledged city on a distant planet has become a reality.
The expedition was top secret, and the only thing Martha knew was that the atmosphere of the new planet was too thin for human life. Initially, engineers were to use the method of dropping bombs at the planet's poles to release carbon dioxide and methane, thickening the atmosphere and heating the planet. The new planet is a cold Earth with an average temperature of -60 degrees Celsius and needs to be heated. Martha suggested using a network of space mirrors and other similar materials to reflect light onto the surface and generate heat. By releasing oxygen and absorbing carbon dioxide, plants will be a part of terraforming. The planet would grow genetically modified plants suited to the climate and create an atmosphere. The solar system government has announced plans to build 20 new centers on the new planet. The new cities have gradually become a key part of planetary colonization. Various types of settlement structures have been planned and developed over the past decades. As is well known, for a command on a new planet to be successful, the settlement must have a government, including a system of control, to ensure effective law enforcement and prevent tyranny, civil war, or other forms of chaos or unrest. Martha reflected, "Despite the beauty and technological advances, it always seems to me that all of this is based on outdated models of urban planning and development planning. The same old roads for cars, but the cars on those roads are just improved, sleeker, and fully electric. The same old buildings, only taller, fancier, and greener, with impressive water recycling systems." Martha knew that the new unnamed planet had no atmosphere to protect it from solar radiation, which was dangerous to humans. A massive magnetic field generator or a system of magnets would be used to create an artificial magnetic field around the planet. The long-term goal of the solar system government was to create self-sufficient urban centers that could produce their own energy, water, and other resources. This would require a variety of technologies, renewable energy sources, and closed-loop systems for recycling waste and other resources. And Martha was one of the best experts in city planning. She was aware of all the ins and outs and potential problems that could arise in a new place. The one thing that worried Martha the most was that she would never go back to Mars. Despite the extremely difficult decision, she agreed to head a project and relocated to a new colony. Who else but her could build cities similar to her native Mars, but outside the solar system? She had a big mission, and she understood it. The goal of the new settlements is to control space outside the solar system. New cities seem to be the answer to urban sprawl in the solar system. However, this becomes a common problem for new cities as they develop, making them dependent on neighboring cities. Another problem new cities face is an identity crisis stemming from a lack of history. Martha had not heard of Roland, Tet, and Peter Smith for a long time. She loved Roland's stories about the ancient times of Earth and remembered well that throughout its history, man had tried to destroy his biological species and had created sophisticated means for this, from a stone club and spear to the atomic bomb, war gases, and bacteriological weapons. Standing by the window, looking at Mars, Martha understood that all human actions were aimed at only one thing: to destroy himself as rationally as possible. Throughout the history of civilization, violence, and especially armed violence, has played an important role, but at the same time has become a kind of engine of progress. In the age of biocrits, the glorious traditions of war are carried on not by man, but by extraterrestrial intelligence. From Roland's stories, Martha knew that throughout the history of the solar system, several stages of war took place: wars before the robot age, wars between humans, and wars of the age of biocrits with alien intelligence, and the struggle for the existence of intelligent humans.
The wars before the robot age influenced the development of human society and its technological advances. The first leap in military conflicts was the introduction of new weapons, rather than the usual sticks and stones of the Stone Age. Bows, arrows, swords, and spears enter history. With similar weapons, only slightly modernized, people have been destroying each other for thousands of years. Wars helped resolve conflicts, but could also be political in nature. The origin of war was connected with the tribal, clan, and family patriarchal stages of human existence, with the inherent exchange of labor within the tribe and clan, and with the transformation of commodity relations into commodity money relations. Armed struggle was at the tactical level of units of manpower, foot soldiers and cavalry equipped with cold weapons. The main goal of such hostilities was the destruction of enemy troops. In such wars, the warrior, his physical training, endurance, courage, and fighting spirit came to the fore. This era had an important place in human history, sung in songs and covered in legends. This was a time of heroes and myths, especially for those who took part in them or for civilians who became victims of these conflicts. This stage of mankind lasted a very long time, and this was probably the longest stage in the history of wars and military art. The development of weapons and the emergence of new types was associated with the invention of combat aircraft and tanks, as well as with advances in communication. The wars of the age of biocrits with alien intelligence had much in common with previous wars. Many scientists consider wars over the existence of a biological species to be outside the scope of classification, because in war there are no winners or losers. These wars are associated with the development of high-precision weapons and the ability to kill at a distance, the so-called contactless war. It is not the aliens who are destroyed, but the biological species that is protected. With the help of new weapons, electromagnetic rays, the means of influencing aliens on people, are destroyed. The civilization of the solar system is growing and needs protection and new opportunities for settlement. And so, a key moment has come in Martha's life, a twist of fate that can never be reversed. Martha has left the solar system forever. Having landed on a new planet without a name yet, Martha was enchanted by the new sky. What a beauty! The sky is enchanting at any time of the year. It changes imperceptibly and is never the same, because something subtle, escaping an earthly gaze, changes its state every moment. The new sky changes its shades, its height, its content. The new planet, nameless, lives its own secret life, forcing everything to adapt to it. It is connected by invisible threads to every entity, forcing it to resonate internally with the tone it sets, creating an inner mood, unobtrusively but secretly, calmly, and powerfully. Looking out over the planet's surface, it was hard to imagine that in a few decades the planet would look different. Like a giant wedding cake, the snow icing on top of the largest ice sheet looks smooth and flawless, beautiful and perfectly white. Small swirls of snow cover the surface. But as you approach the edge of the ice sheet, you get a sense of immense power deep within. Cracks appear on the surface, sometimes organized like a washboard, sometimes a complete chaos of spires and ridges, revealing a pale blue crystalline heart of ice below. Surprisingly, Martha found herself at home in the new world in no time. The unnamed planet will be a copy of Mars. When the land has an atmosphere, something that will not take long, biocrits under human guidance will build cities with glass houses. They will provide magnificent views and extraordinary comfort, protecting the inhabitants from any danger. Glass domes are designed not only to make buildings look good, but also to take the terrain into account during construction. The purpose of the glass domes is to protect people from harsh conditions such as a lack of atmosphere, low temperatures, and high levels of radiation, and to create a habitable environment there. People will be able to live and work in the domes, as they will have an atmosphere similar to Earth's and all the life support systems. The domes will be made of high-strength glass, aluminum alloy, and steel. These glass domes looked like a dream. With a transparent glass ceiling above your head, it's easier to stay connected and have an unobstructed view of the outside world.
One can talk endlessly about the night sky, because no more beautiful spectacle for the mind and heart exists. Its infinity, which captivates the gaze into the depths of the universe and offers hope of overcoming defeat and difficulties, because they pale in the face of this immense, powerful beauty. The sky reduces this vanity to microscopic dimensions, giving us the courage and strength to fight this vanity and the invisible internal struggle with ourselves,
revealing to us the heavenly beauty and calling us to the source of the only life. Martha pondered, looking at the sky of the new planet. There are no two identical stars in the universe, just as there are no two identical people, two identical destinies on Earth. Each of them has its own attractive force, its own magic of influence, setting milestones on the path of life, shaping the passage through experience. The night sky of the new planet shimmered with myriads of stars. The blue-black velvet of the sky made the heart freeze from the power of mystical attraction and stopped the thought in its unbridled penetration into such depths of the universe that the human mind was unable to grasp. In the west, the land of the new home reflected fiery reds and golds. Then they took on softer shades of blue, purple, and green. Every corner of the planet was beautiful in its own way. Every plateau possessed its own distinct character, blending into a surprisingly harmonious palette of reds and silver blues. Despite moving to a new home, Martha was in good spirits. She knew that over time, urban suburbs would be built, eventually separating residents from the main city center. As a result, city centers would expand beyond their outer boundaries, creating limited space for further development. A new city on a new planet will be designed to relocate people away from the solar system to develop entirely new, relatively autonomous communities. Each city will have its own unique structure to ensure a balanced life for its inhabitants, both intelligent humans and biocrits. Far from the solar system, the world Martha lived in was complex. Imagine that if you cut a hologram of a flower in half and shine a laser on it, each half will contain an entire image of the same flower of the same size. If you continue cutting the hologram into smaller pieces, we will find an image of the entire object on each piece. Unlike a regular photograph, each section of the hologram contains information about the object, but at the cost of reduced clarity. The new world resembles a holographic reality. The world consists of individual computational elements, quantum, located on several layers of an intergalactic network. Data entering the network is sequentially processed at each layer. Laboratories simulate the human nervous system and the ability to self-learn based on previous experience. The age of biocrits is a world of quantum paradigms. Paradoxically, the creation of a working quantum mechanism has done more harm than good. It would seem that enough time has passed to develop protection systems against malware and code breakers, but the quantum algorithm continues to harm humanity. The minds of the new world have proven that the universe is a giant hologram. Each part contains information about the whole. As people delve deeper into the theory of the holographic universe, they have questioned the reality and the limits of human perception. The entire universe can be viewed as a two-dimensional information structure drawn on the cosmological horizon, so that the three dimensions that humans observe are only a description at macroscopic scales and at low energies. The distant two-dimensional surface contains all the data necessary to fully describe our world, and, like a hologram, this data is reflected in 3 dimensions.
The network of subatomic particles that make up the physical universe, the so-called fabric of reality itself, has what seems to be an undeniable holographic property. The holographic principle would comprehensively include reality as man knows it, as well as previously unexplained phenomena, such as the paranormal and out-of-body experiences, telepathy, lucid dreaming, and near-death experiences, among others. The new centers on the planet represent a new way of life for humans, living in a healthy environment after the destruction and decline of cities in the solar system. The new cities were a response to the relocation of populated and overpopulated settlements to new locations. On the new planet, the winter sky is especially rich in bright stars. The new places with bright lighting dominate, and a human cannot see the stars and constellations, drowned out by their reflected light. But with light clouds, the city light creates surprisingly vivid clouds that attract the eye and feed the richest imagination. Martha was far from the solar system, but she easily found the main constellations in the velvet sky of her new home. Here is the beauty of the sky. Orion, tied with a pearl belt of 3 stars. How many myths and legends of all times and peoples are associated with this constellation? It looks majestically and wisely from the depths of the universe, giving joy and a thirst for knowledge of its secrets. Majestic black holes, invisible secret threads that keep the great secret of the origin of the only life, involuntarily appear before the inner eye. A little lower and to the left of Orion, on the flagpole of Canis Major, the brightest star in the sky, Sirius, shines like a silver-blue carbuncle. Ursa Major is next to its eternal pursuers, the constellations of Bootes and Canis. Its ladle, consisting of 7 bright silver stars, united the 7 hearts of the sons of the one God, a symbol of a great gift to humanity, a gift of great love and knowledge, care and help. Every seeker can quench his thirst from the heavenly ladle filled with true life. And nearby is Ursa Minor, known as the guiding polar star. How often and with what hope a person lost in the dense world has longed for the appearance of this very star, which will show the way to salvation and gaining a new, true life. Mysterious, unfading Cassiopeia is like the stroke of the great teacher on the heavens. What beautiful secret does Cassiopeia, this queen of the sky, hide? How many of them are beautiful, bright, and not so, constellations and stars in the night sky. Here is the restless Sagittarius, always rushing forward, and the calm and majestic constellation Libra, on which the cosmic supreme justice measures out to everyone the measure of what has been achieved. The wings of the swan gracefully spread in flight into the uncharted depths of the universe, and next to it is the exquisite Lyra. The mighty Leo, with the star of kings, Regulus, which bestows nobility and courage, bringing the highest fire into the human heart, and the mysterious constellation Pisces that beckons to mystical depths. Scorpio, Virgo, Gemini, Andromeda with its nebula like muslin, a star bracelet of the Milky Way, and the non-flickering planets, scattered according to cosmic law along their orbits, reflect the light of the stars on a new place. The beauty of the night sky paralyzed Martha, and she did not notice how morning came. And now the first ray of the rising sun painted everything in radiant, rainbow tones, driving away the morning shadows and giving everything a new impulse of life and joy. The sunbeam thrown into a person's heart establishes an invisible, secret connection with it, creating an inner mood that the heart will carry throughout the day, despite fleeting sorrows and disappointments. How important this connection is! A sensitive heart, open to these highest qualities, can create and joyfully bring the results of this creativity to people. How creativity transforms a life, flooding it with joy, and at the same time gives an understanding of the deepest responsibility for the results of this creativity. The sky, and only the new sky, is the true inspirator and mover of everything new. An Earth year had passed. Pride bloomed within Martha as she took in the newborn settlement, still glistening with the dust of creation. The buildings had underground and above-ground premises. The above-ground part of the city reached 500 meters and was rising noticeably. During the day, the city shines even in the pale light, and the skyscrapers have become like shining spears. At night, the city is even more dazzling, sparkling with the light of long-term reflectors to ensure the uninterrupted work of the night brigades of biocrits. The true beauty of the new cities is yet to come. What exists so far is only the foundation. The plan for the new planet involves super-strong buildings, thin towers that pierce the atmosphere, and a skyline that is only now becoming apparent. But this will take several Earth decades.